Hello, my Flavor friends, and welcome to the Kitchenette Finds Test Kitchen. I'm so glad that you can join me today because it's a topic that I'm really excited about and passionate about is getting kids in the kitchen, cooking, but also getting them to try new foods and learn to love nutritious meals and really get those vitamins and nutrients that their little growing bodies need, because who wants a sick kid? Not me. So I'm going to share with you some of the tools and techniques that I use with my son, other kids in the family. I was a nanny for a while before I had my own, and I've always loved baking and cooking and being in the kitchen and sharing that especially with the little ones, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too. So it's important to invite them into the kitchen. Really important because he had that sense of ownership and pride. So some of his first tools, toast tongs, super helpful because little fingers, toasters, not a good combination, and they have a little magnet on them, so it just sticks on the toaster, and then you can use that. I got these at London Drugs a while ago. But also it's good to have something like a wedger. You can cut apples and potatoes with the two hands so they're less likely to hurt themselves. But as they get older, you can give them sharper things like knives. But before that, you can build up with, this is a hummingbird, and it's a peeler. So great for getting that help peeling carrots and potatoes, which in the summertime, great to do outside because that's gonna make a bit of a mess. But it's something that they can actually do pretty well. And I mean, you do have to show them how to use it. But if they get that trick, then, and they don't skin themselves, then they're gonna be really good. Another good idea is to have somewhere either lower down that they can prep, like at a table, or give them a stool so that they can stand higher up, and make sure that they're wearing appropriate clothes, and teach them to wash their hands. That's super important, is that food safe cleanliness. So when they're in the kitchen, let them know what the ground rules are. But let them get messy. Accept that it's going to get dirty, but know that it's going to get better too. So I know with baking especially, there's flour everywhere and it's going to take a lot longer. So just, give yourself that grace and, and let them know that that's okay. And this is how we clean up. Again, something they need to learn. Let them write recipes. If they can't write yet, you can shoot videos. They can tell you what the recipe is and write it down. You can have a photo album of the food that they've created and share it. It's so great, when you're sitting down for dinner with the family, say, name the dishes, say it's Sarah's carrots, give it a name, or say, point out what a great job that they did. Give them that sense of pride and accomplishment. I mean, that's so important. I know I love it when people tell me how much they enjoy what I've made. So, I mean, why wouldn't your kids? But also more importantly is getting out of the kitchen too and really exploring what's out there. I spent some of my formative years on a farm in the Cowichan Valley, and that really ingrained with me that connection to nature and that understanding of where, my food comes from. We had sheep, we had cows, we had chickens. I collected the eggs. We had an apple orchard. I mean, it's amazing to climb up a tree and pick an apple and eat it while you're still sitting in the tree. One of my favorite things to do is go to visit farms. Birchwood Dairy out in Abbotsford, they have the dairy cows there and they make ice cream. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't love that? And going to farmers markets is great too in this season. Talk to the people who grow the food. Ask them what their recipes and tips are, and they'll often let you try things. And when the weather's not great and the farmers markets aren't around too, check out ethnic grocery stores or just even the ethnic section in your grocery store and try something new. We love to go to T&T markets because they have so much stuff. And it's fun to just go, well, what's this? I don't know. Let's get it. So like one of my favorite things to introduce kids to is jicama. I know it kind of looks like a cross between a turnip and a potato, but it's used a lot in Mexican cooking, and you can eat it raw or you can roast it. When it's raw, it tastes kind of like fresh peas, which is really great, and you can put it in salads, or you can just, one of my favorite things to do is just squeeze some lime juice on it, and then I'll put chili powder on it. For me, just lime juice for the kids, maybe a little bit of salt, but super tasty and fun. And I mean, for less than $3, you can kind of have, a flavor adventure. So jicama is a great one. Then fruits as well. Today I got some lychees, which are super fun, and they look like eyeballs when you peel them, and again, it's an adventure. And if they don't like it, hey, they tried it. You can make a list of foods that they've tried, write what their review is, and just keep going. Be the food scientist, explore what's out there. And don't give up. It can take up to 15 tries of a new flavor for it to be accepted. Now, some ways you can get to be more likely to accept it is start small. I mean, a big mouthful of something new can be overwhelming. So try, a particle and then work up to a piece and then a chunk. Do it gradually so that they adjust to the taste buds. Remember, their taste buds are really sensitive. Their palates can be really fine-tuned. So sometimes it helps if you build something familiar in with it. If they have like a dip or a sauce that they really like if they like ranch dip, you can make ranch dip and put that almost anything and that tastes great. So, take something that they're familiar with and tie it in, or tell them what it tastes like, like with the jicama. You like peas, maybe you'll like jicama. Let's try that. Give them those opportunities to try it. And if they're served something that they don't like, fix it. I'm always wanted to raise my son to be a problem solver. So if he says, "Oh, I don't like this," I'd be like, "Great. Well, let's try it. What does it need? Does it need sweet? Does it need salt? Does it need, something on it? Do you need to drink water with it? Like, what can we do to make it so you will like it?" It's not just, it doesn't have to be black or white. There's lots of shades of gray, and there's lots of things you can do to fix it and make it taste better and start that process in their brains. And plan ahead, talk them through it. Sometimes if you throw something at someone and spring it on them, it's harder for them to adjust. But, if they're warming up to the idea, if you talk about, who likes it or where you had it first, if they feel connected to it and comfortable with it, then they're going to be more likely to try it. It's a good idea to do a meal plan for the week so that you're not finding out as you're making dinner that they're totally upset by that. So it's if they have that expectation, if you have it up, on the fridge or on the wall, and it's "Oh, we're going to have that," it's then they can kind of, ease into that idea. And give them choices when it's appropriate. If you're not sure if you want to, steam the broccoli or roast it, ask your kids. What do they want? What do they prefer? But make sure you follow through with what they choose. Make sure when you make that offer that you're really willing to go with either one, because that can be frustrating for them when they say roasted and you're like, "Oh, well, we don't have time." It can come across as a rejection. So, and the choice can be, which plate do you want it on? Do you want it cut, diagonally or in quarters? But give them those choices so that they feel like they're being involved and they're getting those options and that they have power. A lot of picky eaters, not about food, it's about power. So try to, figure that out. Where do they need that power? Where do they need that feeling of control? Another important thing is how you talk about food. Our rule was that we never said that we hated a food, because hate was a strong word, and why would you hate something that could give your body nutrients and vitamins? So the phrasing that we used was not a fan. So, if you tried something, not a fan. And because we felt that was, it could change, because tastes do change. And that was the other phrase that we used all the time is, tastes change. So just because you didn't like something last week doesn't mean you don't like it this week. I mean, that can work against you too, because, you know, something they liked last week, maybe they don't like this week. So I suggest keeping a list of no-goes and let them have maybe 5 things. Give them a number. 5's an easy one because, you know, 5 fingers, and say, okay, so your no-goes are, you know, avocados, Brussels sprouts, red peppers, lamb, and apples. So those are your 5 no-goes, but you have to be willing to try everything else. You've tried these 5 things, they're not working for you right now, that's okay. But if you want to put something else on the list, then you've got to take one off. So do you want to put apples back on? Apples can be pretty good. Great, that'll go back on your eating list and you can add something to the no-go. So you give them those boundaries. We all have things that we don't really like, that we don't really enjoy, and that's okay. But it can't be, you know, a whole category, like vegetables. That's just not on. So you give them those options, give them those choices, and involve them. I think that's the most important thing is you ask them for their input. Let them pick a vegetable. Let them pick a side. Engage them in what's going on and let them know that they're part of it. If you do meal prep together, I mean, a great way is to start the week by, you know, prepping some vegetables to keep in the fridge for snacks. If you have more than one kid, they can have, you know, their own little basket on the lower shelf in the fridge with their snacks for the week. And then you can even like pre-prep some dip so that they have that ready. You can get window writers and you can write their name on it and the date it was made so you know how long it's been in the fridge. And they can have that personal dip if that helps them eat vegetables. You know, give them those things that make it a little bit easier. With fruit, have a yogurt dip with a fruit flavor or a vegetable flavor like carrot cake. Love that. Let them sprinkle on something like Tutti Frutti, which is full of antioxidants and it's got carrots as the first ingredient. Kids like to do it themselves, so let them. Let them, you know, add their own things. Give them access to, you know, sprinkle some sesame seeds on. I know for my son, when I make soup, he'd always love it when there was something extra, like a, you know, a piece of lemon that he could squeeze over it or something he could sprinkle on top. You know, like everything bagel. Like suddenly that makes toast and cream cheese into like a different experience. And find those simple recipes that they can be responsible for, whether it's making spaghetti sauce with marinara or making chicken broth. Really simple things like making pudding from a mix, but make sure that you get one that has clean ingredients, that's not full of stabilizers and chemicals. And then also include things like black bean brownies. You can, I don't suggest hiding vegetables, but incorporating them. Let them know it's there. Isn't that kind of neat? Like, get them really engaged. Smoothies are another great way to get, you know, more greens and veggies into their diet, and, you know, it blends it right up, and you can cover it with a lot of great things like berries will hide it. So, I mean, I could keep going. I have lots to share. So, but I hope you found this helpful and that there were some tips that will work for you and your family and, you know, will really help you enjoy the food and enjoy the time together. Because it's so important that, you know, that we understand that we eat the foods that we do to nourish our bodies and to stay healthy and give us energy, and explain to our children what those foods are for, and that while there are some foods that their only job is they taste good, that we have the other ones first, and we make sure that we're giving our bodies the nutrients and vitamins that it needs, and that we have the energy, and that, you know, that we're really working on that so that we can enjoy the experience, embrace the experience, and just have a really great time together. So thanks for joining me.